Ethan had always felt uneasy about the attic. Even as a child, when he lived in this house with his parents, he would hear faint noises, scratches, whispers, the creaking of the old wooden boards above his room. His father dismissed it as rats, his mother as old house noises. But now, as an adult returning to his childhood home after his parents' passing, Ethan knew better. The first night back, he barely slept. The house felt different, heavier, as if something unseen pressed against the walls. At 2:47 a.m., he heard it, the unmistakable sound of footsteps in the attic. Slow, deliberate, impossibly heavy. His breath caught in his throat as he stared at the ceiling, his mind racing through every rational explanation. None of them made sense. Morning brought a false sense of security. In the daylight, his fears seemed almost silly. He told himself it was just his imagination. That night, he made sure the attic door was locked. But it didn't matter. At exactly 2:47 a.m., the noises returned. This time, it wasn't just footsteps. There was a low, guttural breathing, deep, raspy, unnatural. A shuffling sound like something dragging itself across the attic floor. And then, a whisper. Ethan's blood turned to ice. It was faint, almost unintelligible, but he could swear it spoke his name. He wanted to ignore it, pretend it wasn't real, but the fear gnawed at him. The next day, he found an old, dust-covered ladder in the garage and decided to go up. The attic door creaked open, revealing the dark, cramped space above. The air was thick with the scent of decay. He shone his flashlight around. Boxes, old furniture, broken picture frames. Nothing unusual. But then he noticed something in the farthest corner. A pile of rags, bones, and something else. Something shifting. The flashlight flickered, and for a split second, he saw it. A figure hunched over, its limbs too long, its fingers ending in jagged, yellowed nails. Its skin was stretched tight over its bones, pale and mottled with dark veins. But the worst part was its face, empty, hollow sockets where eyes should have been, a mouth that stretched too wide as if carved into its skull. Ethan stumbled back, dropping the flashlight. The thing moved, a jerky, unnatural motion, and let out a sound. A choked, wet clicking, like laughter twisted into something terrible. He ran. He didn't stop until he was outside, gasping for air. The attic door slammed shut behind him, as if the house itself wanted to trap it inside. But the worst part? That night, as Ethan lay in bed, shaking, he heard it again. A whisper. Closer this time. It wasn't in the attic anymore. It was in his room.